Firstly, I would like to welcome our panelists and thanks them for joining us today and showing their intent to help the freshers. I would also like to welcome our freshers who have joined us for this event. As endsams are approaching, we the people of SWG have organized the event Examania, where our panel of seniors will be answering the problems faced by first year students during the preparation for the exam. As we circulated the Google form, we received plenty of questions from the freshers regarding the academic loads, and here we will try to address some of the general questions. Freshers can put their questions in the chat box, and we will have a segment in the last where our panelists will be answering those questions.
We will start our event by a brief introduction of our panelists, and then we will move on to the questionnaire. I would request the panelists to switch on their camera if they can. So let's move on to the brief introduction. Abhi sir, you can move on to the next slide.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, our first panelist is Aditya Uppal. He is from mechanical department. Hello Aditya.
Am I audible? Yeah.
Yeah,
So, hi,
yeah,
everyone.
Aditya, you're audible.
Yeah. So, do I need to introduce myself, or will you do that for me?
Yeah, you can if you want.
Yeah, cool. So, my name is Aditya Uppal. I'm a second year undergraduate from the mechanical engineering department. So, earlier on, my department was geology and geophysics, and I got a department change to 4-year mechanical engineering.
That's great.
That's pretty much.
Thanks, Aditya. Our second panelist is Madiha Hanifa, and she is from mechanical department. Hello, Madiha.
Yeah, hello. So I'll be introducing myself. My name is Badhiya Hanifa. I'm a second year undergraduate from the Department of Mechanical Engineering, enrolled in the BTech course of Manufacturing Sciences and Engineering. And let's expect a great time ahead, I guess.
Yeah, Madiha. Thank you, Madiha. Our third panelist is Bharat Uday. He is from electrical department. Hello, Bharat.
Hello guys, glad to be here and thank you for having me. So I'm Bharat today and I'm from the Department of Electrical Engineering and enrolled in its 4-year BTech course. And I was initially in the Department of Aerospace Engineering and then I changed it to electrical and I belong to Noida, Uttar Pradesh. And I'll be glad to answer any of the questions that you all will be having for me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Bharat, for joining us. Our fourth panelist is Nilaksh. He is from Electrical and Electronics Communication Department. Hello, Nilaksh.
Yeah, hello everyone, and I'm Laksh, and I'm from Electronics and Electrical Communication Engineering Department, enrolled in its 4-year BTech course. And initially, I was in Instrumentation Engineering, and let's have a great session.
Thank you, Nilesh.
So yeah, thank you guys for joining. So let's move on to our questionnaire. So our first question of the event is like studying online, especially after JEE, is a pretty challenging task. Some students struggle to maintain their focus and put in a consistent effort. So like, how did you guys go about doing this? How did you guys maintain your mindset about studies even after the JEE? Anyone from the panelists would like to step in and answer?
Yeah, I'd like to take that. So I think it was just the opposite for me. After JEE, it was pretty easier to study because you are in the habit of studying, But I saw a difference in the second semester when I was all used to doing all the work and managing my studies along with it, because JEE actually teaches you how to actually study 18 hours a day or more. So yeah.
Yeah, it used to be very hectic during the JEE. Anyone who would like to add some extra point?
Yeah, so what often happens is people are not really happy with their JEE advanced performance, and so they can use it as a form of motivation. Like for me, I underperformed in advanced, and the option was to take a drop or to come over here and work hard. So I would say that compared to JEE, maybe working hard and getting a good CG is easier. I don't know if other panelists agree or disagree with me, but I personally believe it's easier. And because you have a consistent effort going on, like you don't have anything relying on one exam or on one subject. So you can, have a consistent effort, have a, build upon it. And even if you mess up one exam, I assure you it will be fine. You still can maintain a very good CGPA, even if one exam or even if one course doesn't go your way. So don't get demotivated. Baki, I don't think so it's a problem.
Yeah, I agree with you that it's about on J. If you are not able to perform well on the D day, then you will not get your expected branch. So you can perform well in the college and perform consistently and do well. So anyone who would like to share their views on this?
So yeah, just as Uppal said that you have to find something and make that your goal. Like high CG can also be your goal. Like if you are inclined towards research, then high CG will definitely help you. And like I am pretty inclined, so like that was my goal to maintain a decent CG and also hope for DEPC. So yeah, that kept me motivated.
Yeah, I guess all the points. Oh, Bharat, if you like
Yeah.
to add, yeah.
Yeah, I do agree with Aditya and Nilaksh's points. Like Depsy and high CG is definitely a motivation. But like the thing that I found personally difficult was the scheduling stuff. Like scheduling gets a bit tough after the JE part because during the JE periods you are like more inclined towards studying everything and everything like that is related to the subject, and you have a lot of time, right? uh, for JE, like 2 years, and you have the subject, you have the syllabus. But in college, it is pretty different. So time division is something very important you have to follow in college. JE scheduling was not an issue, but in college, what I found was you really need to schedule very well. You need to decide which subjects to study, how much to study, and to what extent to study, because half of these subjects might not even be useful for you. You might not have interest in them. You might not like to do them, but like you have to take out 1 or 2 hours in order to just get good marks to maintain a good CG, but not to gain expertise in those subjects. So like that is my thing.
Yeah, I completely agree with you guys. So I guess that covers all the points. So we can move on to the next question. So our second question is that how did you plan for your academic considering that you wanted to change your department? Anyone can start.
So first of all, it was not what I heard before I got to college was that what people usually do is that before the exams they they take all-nighters and study really hard right before the exams to cover up the syllabus. So the one advantage at online semester was that there were a very few distractions. Like even though it is slightly unfortunate, you can try to see the positive side that since there won't be any offline fests or hall activities for you guys, you can dedicate a substantial portion of your time to studies. Also, I would not say that you let go of society work, let go of everything. That is extremely important. But I'm just saying you get slightly more time in online semester than in offline semester, considering all things considered. In addition to that, you'll have to prioritize subjects. That is very important. You have to see if you are aiming for a high CG, maybe the strategy will be slightly different. But if you're specifically aiming for a department change, you must be very thorough with what subjects you prioritize because labs are not considered. So prioritize the theory courses. Don't let go of labs because if you by chance let go of lab completely and the professor decides to fail you, that's it. You won't be able to get a department. So I would say prioritize, but don't let go of any particular subject. And of course, a good way to prioritize subjects would be see if they have a high credit, if they are high credit courses, if you struggle in them, and if they have encountered for departments. That's pretty much it.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Aditya. That was pretty much insightful. Yeah,
To
Madhya.
add to yeah to add to what Uppal said, I think yes, prioritizing is very important. Do not plan on doing everything and overestimating yourself and end up in a very bad place. If you are specifically aiming for a department change, see all the credits, see what all subjects are counted for a DEPSI, and make time for them. For bio, EVS, and labs, you can just do with 1 hour of study or a night before. But if you're applying for a DEPSI, you have to prioritize and leave other things. So that's pretty much it.
Anyone from our panelists would like to add something?
Yeah, like that pretty much covers all the points. Just one slight small point that you should be clear about, like, do you want a FC or do you not want a FC? Because there are some people like who are not ready to accept the fact that they want a FC or not. Like I can relate to this myself in the first semester. I really thought that FC will be a very tough thing. So I was like, let's see, like if I get it, I get it. If I don't, it's not a problem. But then from the second semester I started getting a bit more like focused towards a DEPSI. Like I only used to think about getting a DEPSI, that's it. So like you should know where, like, do you want it 100% or you do not want it? Like it should be, there should be some dedication. So that is pretty much it. Don't be in two minds.
Thank you, guys. Your answers pretty much cleared the doubt. We can move on to the next question.
Okay, guys. The third question is that how did you appropriately divide your time between all these subjects according to their weightage? So, did any of panelists want to step into this question?
Yeah, like I would like to say that as the midsems are over, then you will have a clear idea that which subject will require more effort. So after a few tests are over, you get a clear idea. Like might be for you, PDS will require more effort. So you can accordingly give more time to that. And like say for me, PDS was okay, so I like, didn't devote a lot of time in that, and I devoted more time in calculus because like my calculus was weaker. So yeah, you can do accordingly.
Yeah, Nilash, that's great. Bharat, do you want to add on to this?
Yeah. So the thing was with me was like I just wanted a DEPSI. I didn't really care about other subjects. So I focused only on the DEPSI subjects and like the way they were going in the class. So if the like just like again like Nilaksh said that PDS, like when you find that PDS is doable, don't give too much time to PDS. Focus on other subjects. So but what I did was I didn't focus on EVS at all. I didn't focus on bio at all, English. Like I barely read anything about them or the labs. Like I just studied one day before the class, but other subjects you need to be thorough if you want a DEPSI. And also like it again, you should be clear whether you want a DEPSI or a high CG or you want both. Like it totally depends up to you. And alongside you want to manage club work as well, societies work as well, because if you have to do that, you'll definitely have to prioritize. You cannot do everything under the sun. So that is totally up to you, your priorities. And if you are like still confused like which subject to prioritize, contact a senior, talk to a senior, because they have gone through it. They'll know which subject to prioritize at which point in time.
Yeah, Bharat, that's correct. We need to prioritize the subject. Yeah, absolutely. Madiha, do you want to add on to this what Bharat and Nilaksh mentioned?
Yeah. So I'd say do not mess up subjects like a POW, because even though there's relative grading, people are getting more than 90% in that subject. So you have to know what to study and what not to study. Like BEM, you don't have to solve each and every question. You can just do the bare minimum and end up in a very good place compared to POW. So you have to divide subjects according to that. And adding to that, tutorials and assignments are more than enough to do each and every subject that in my first year. So that's it.
Thanks, Madiha. Aditya, do you think that some point is left so that you can add
Yeah,
on to?
so the one mistake I did was, so I had chemistry sem as my first semester. So I was like, I have read this part in JE, so probably I'll be able to do this. And when the paper came, the pattern was something that I hadn't expected at all. There was no navigation. Questions were long, calculative. I was expecting a theory-based paper. And that kind of messed up what I was feeling, my whole. So, if you have one bad exam now, that also messes up your whole temperament. like you're in the first question, there is no navigation. You can see the clock ticking. So don't rely on the fact that I have read this in JE. Just go through the motions once. Read the theory again. Do a couple of problems. Might help you out. Just this is from my personal experience. I think most of you might have also felt this.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, we have faced this similar situation. Yeah. So I think that everything is covered. So I guess we can move on to the next question. Yeah. So our fourth question is that how did you manage your time and allocate it appropriately to academic, society work, events, and assignments? So, panelist, do you want anyone
Yeah,
can?
sure.
Yeah.
I'll continue with that. So, I'll tell you, first year is the time now when you explore, and trust me, all that J inside of you goes far away, very far away. So you explore different domains and you get to know how real world works. It's not just that, not just physics, chemistry, and math. So it's fine. You can contribute your time to each and everything, but with all this now, some people often get drifted and prioritize other things and end up in a again bad place. So trust me, high CG will always keep all the options clear for you. So do not do not get drifted thinking that maybe this is not the work that I like, maybe this is what I like, and I if you are motivated enough for an EPSI, do not lose track.
Yeah. Okay, Madhya. Any of the panelists want to continue, Madhya?
Yeah, sure. Like I'll go on. What happened in my case was like I did have a lot of clashes as well with like society work and academics. So always prioritize academics. Like that is the most important thing. That is what I'll tell to everyone. Like all the juniors, all the first years, and everyone who comes to campus, because societies are a very exciting and a very attractive part to each and every person, especially in the first year. Even in the second year, it continues. But in the long run, the thing that will matter the most is the academics. When people look at you, they judge you by your academics. Definitely, you build up a lot of skills, a lot of soft skills when you are part of a society. But academics are always the top priority. So given that these cases, always prioritize assignments first, okay, because you cannot give the prof any reason for not submitting the assignment on time. So assignments are first. Secondly comes events and academics. I would like place them at the same level because again, like events are quite an important aspect of the society work as well. So you need to get them done because like you need to maintain a sort of a position in your society as well. So events are again important, and academics have to go hand in hand. So try to manage both the things together. And society work would then come later on because like that is something that can be deferred to another time. So basically prioritize exams when exams are coming up. You can leave acads for a few days if you have some important event for your society coming up. So it totally depends on you. And again, the most important suggestion would be that talk to the seniors in that particular society. Uh, like tell them your problems, tell them you have an exam, you have an assignment to do. They'll help you out with it every time, each and every time they'll help you out with it. That is how I got my way through all of this.
Yeah, Bharat, that's great. Means you have managed that greatly. Yeah. Nilaksh and Aditya, do you want to add on to this what Nilaksh and Hanika mentioned?
Not really, because Bharat was in like 6 societies in his first year, and he's the go-to guy for this. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Bharat, that is means that is awesome that you are in 6 societies. Means yeah, that's really can't believable. That's thanks. Means we can move on to the next question.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
Deepak.
the next question on our list is that how should one bounce back after having a poor performance in the midterms? So that most of the guys here can relate to this, that people are not that much serious during the midterms and they get a shock after seeing the results of the midterm. They, how can they prepare for exam? Please share your views.
So I'll speak on this one because so it was again I slightly gave a trailer of what happened. So chemistry was was our first mid semester exam. Okay, no exam. So I appear in the exam, and then after the exam, I clear. The next day result comes. It's a 7 on 30. So panic. First exam in college. Plans of department change. You have a 7 on 30, and no clue what to do. So what I did was first I saw that the highest marks in the class weren't that high. They were like around the 60% range, 70% range. Not full, not 30 on 30 or anything, like 20, 18 on 30. So in most subjects apart from the maths courses, the performance is relative. Okay, so you have to convince yourself this, even though it might be a little bit unbelievable that is a score like 7 on 30 decent? No, I would say it is not decent, but it is not like anything that you're done for or the course is done for. And after that, you must be very clear with what the grading policy is. Okay. So if the grading policy has a best of something or like that, so then it might help you out. So you can let go of this one exam and then focus on better. Even if it is not, you can try to perform better in the next one. I myself did try to do this, but I still ended up with a B in chemistry. But that was a slight setback, but still it wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. One course won't make a lot of difference. But still, if you have going through a rough patch, try talking to seniors, reaching out to people, try talking to your batchmates, see where you're struggling, see where you went wrong, try talking to people who scored well, how did they score well, and that is the only way out, I think.
Yeah, Aditya, that was pretty much relatable to us, and freshers can take inspiration from you that they should be patient, they should keep patience and be calm and prepare well for the exam. Anyone who would like to add some extra point to this?
Yeah, and also like most likely, like in most other subjects, the endsem and midsem syllabus will not overlap. Like it doesn't carry over in endsems in like many subjects. So you can think that you are starting anew, like from fresh. Like the topics will be fresh, so you can devote more time on them and do perform well.
Yeah, relax, true. So, Madhya and Bharat, would you like to add something?
Yeah, some profs even take compensatory exams or best 2 of 3 or more. So, but you won't know it at the start of your semester. So you might just think that I've messed it up and you just leave hope कि अब तो नहीं होगा, अब तो ये subject छोड़ देते हैं, piece मार देते हैं. You cannot do that because you have to think that A is better than a B or a B is better than a C grade, right? So even if you give your 100% the rest of the test and the worst case is the prof is not taking best 2 of 3 or not no compensatory test, you'll end up with a B rather than a C or an A rather than a B, if not an EX. So that's pretty much it. Do not lose hope or subject ko to piece mat marna.
Yeah, Madhya, that was great. Bharat, would you like to add something?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Like everything. Remember, there are compensatory tests. Remember, there are best out of policies for grading, and like keep going. That's the job in a nutshell. Nothing else to be done.
So, yeah, the one thing that I can summarize is that you should not lose hope and be consistent and do your work properly. So, yeah, we can move on to the next question. So, yeah, what resources and methods did you use to score well in the exam? Like, how did you guys go about the solving the PYQs? Anyone from our panelists can start.
Yeah, so like first of all, it is the professor's slides and PPTs that you go with. Sometimes you miss on lectures, so that is all right. You do not need to watch the recordings in whole. Refer to the PPTs, refer to the topics. You read about those topics online. Watch other YouTube videos because like for every subject there has to be a YouTube video which teaches better than what the prof teaches. So that is pretty much it. And there are apps available, like the SWG app in itself has previous year questions and all, right? So you can refer to those apps and previous year questions. So I referred to that particular thing, to the SWG app, and that pretty much have everything that you need to practice from. And specific subject-wise resources are definitely there. So that contact seniors, they'll let you know what resource to view from.
Yeah, Bharat, your point of view, two videos, I guess everyone could relate to that. Anyone from a panelist would want to add their point?
Apart from the SWG app, SWG app is better because it has everything according to your changed curriculum. But then again, you can refer to a MICA and an online library where you get the same papers, but it's not as organized as the SWG app. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and also solving those tutorials and assignments, they are highly relevant to the type of questions you can expect in exam. So do solve them diligently.
Yeah, so adding on to Nilak's point, the assignments are usually questions that are made by a professor as well, and your mid-semester and semester exams are also going to be questions that all of the professors have individually given, and that those are summed up together and given as an exam. So A, you can learn how your professor's mindset is while setting the exams. Is he absolutely going to blow you away with calculations, or just is going to be one tricky concept or something? So it provides a general direction of how you're going to approach the questions. And more or less it's that. Sometimes reference books are also there, but apart from very specific scenarios, I don't think so they are needed.
Yeah, guys, you shared you are very insightful, and Madhiha, one point we will keep in mind: our tech team would focus more on the app so that the upcoming fresher would get a more organized things on the SWG. Thank you for the opinion. Yeah, we can move on to the next question.
Yeah, so our seventh question is that can you explain how relative grading work? Is it better than absolute grading, or how it is difficult to get good grade in this system? Means I think that you can understand question. So anyone from the panelist can answer this.
Relative grading, how relative grading works, it is very dependent upon the professor. So in my third semester, there was this course, Mechanics of Solids. For that, the professor had clearly mentioned for relative grading as well, the top scorer must also be good enough. So it's not going to be like that if you're scoring 30% marks, and even if you're the top scorer, you're going to get an EX. So, but some courses it is like that. So how relative grading works, there is no definite answer. It's just that you just have to perform bet better than your peers, better than most of your peers. That is the most general answer I can give to how relative grading works. The exact stats like the top 10 will get EX, nothing like that exists. That is totally dependent on your professor and your professor's mood on the day he's grading you guys. So that's one thing. Is it better than absolute grading? 90% of the scenarios, it is better than absolute grading until or unless the course is absolutely very easy. I think so. It happened with people from the physics semester in our first semester. Even a 0.5 mark reduction in ET led to a grade down. So if you had full, you would have EX. If you had even a 0.5 mark less, you would get an A. But that is a very, very rare scenario. It usually doesn't happen. In most cases, yes, absolute grading is better. Sorry, relative grading is better than absolute grading. Is it difficult to get a good grading system? Again, very subjective. What is your definition of good? Yeah, it is like usually people around the mean, that is the average score, get a B. And then it is dependent upon the professor. But more or less, if you're scoring above average, it's an A. Extremely, matlab, a decent chunk above average, then EX. If it's average, you can expect a B. And you can ask your professors to release release the mark distribution. So if you haven't been doing that, ask your professors if they can release the mark distribution. It will put you in a good place mentally and might even boost your confidence, seeing that your peers are performing near about as good as you.
So I think, is that possible that we can ask our professor to release that average mark, something like that?
Yeah.
Because they are not right now. Yeah. Okay.
You can just drop a message on Teams or something if they can release the median and the mean marks. And in our scenario, I think so most professors used to do it, apart from some who were very who used to have a very, how, I don't even know how to say it, not transparent grading scheme.
Yeah.
That is the best way I can put it. So yeah, most professors will release the mark distribution.
Okay, Aditya, we will do that. Bharat, Madhya, and Nilash, do you want to add on to what Aditya said?
Yeah, I think he covered pretty much everything. I just wanted to say that don't get disheartened by seeing your by comparing your midsem marks with others. Like if you get lower than others, then don't get disheartened, because maybe you can perform better in endsem and like relatively you are good, then you will get a better grade. Like it may happen that in earlier tests you are not scoring well, but in later you can cover that up. So don't get disheartened in an early phase.
Yeah, Nilash, that's great. So I think that pretty much is covered. Madhya, do you want to add on to this? Or is that?
Yeah, for the freshers who don't know actually like how relative grading works, I'd like to put it this way. It's basically your grades and cutoffs are decided according to the performance of the whole class and not just you. For example, the top 5% or the 10% of the class gets an EX. This will decide the cutoff of the of B and C and so on. So I'm not sure if I can say that absolute grading is better or relative grading is better, because yes, if everyone scores above 90 for a subject like ET, that happened, that Uppal mentioned last semester. So if everyone scored above 90, then it's better to have absolute grading rather than relative grading. So yeah.
Bharat, do you want to add on to this?
Yeah, just one last thing. Like most of the technical aspects have already been covered, but in my case, the thing was I didn't really know which subject was going to be graded absolutely or which subject was going to be graded relatively. So basically, at the end of the day, knowing which subject is going to be relative or absolute won't really help us in any way. Just like you have to perform the best you can. Like there is no like nothing that you can get out of knowing whether this subject is relative or whether this subject is absolute, because at the end of the day, you're going to perform the best. All right, so like whatever grade you get will be your grade. It won't change in any case. Like so, just give your best. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, Bharat, thank you for your views on that relative and absolute grading. And I think that all the freshies will be now clear on that absolute and relative grading. So I think that we can move on to the next question. Yeah, so our eighth question is that how did you guys use to study and manage revise all the subject just before the endsem and midsem? So anyone
For subjects like ET, bio, you don't need to study. You don't need to revise. You just need to study the day before so that you can remember on the day of the exams. And as already said, tutorials and assignments for other subjects are more than enough to revise and study. So do not worry much about revising the subjects. Just clear
thanks.
your concepts. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Any of the panelists want to add on to this?
Go through the tutorials. Bharat, you can continue. I'll just.
You can continue.
Go ahead.
All right.
Awesome. So just go through the tutorials, and that's pretty much it. I don't think so. There is a better way. Then read the slides, go through the tutorials. I don't think so. You will be able to see like the 10 hour, 11 hours of lectures. There's no point in that. Just go through the tutorials and go through the slides before the examination.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Practice is the best thing that helps you revise. You'll revise all the formulas if you solve all the tutorials that have been sent to you in the class. You'll revise all the concepts, and if you get stuck somewhere, go to that topic and brush it up. No use revising the entire syllabus because it's pretty big.
Yeah, absolutely. Nilash, do you want to add on to this? Okay. So I think that we can summarize that we can solve all the tutorials and we can go through these slides, and that would be sufficient for the revision purpose. So okay, so we can move on to the next question.
So yeah, the ninth question is that how did you guys handle the PDS theory tests and topics such as pointers and memory allocations are pretty challenging. So how did you guys deal with these topics? This was the most asked question in our Google form. Everyone from the chemistry sem said that you have to ask this question. Please share your views.
Yeah, like I would suggest a course. There is this CS50 course, and like it's pretty good for visualizing the stuff. Like you can use it if you don't already have any like previous knowledge in PDS.
Yeah, CS50 is extremely good. It is absolutely relevant to the coursework. I would say even the pattern on the order in which the topics are taught is absolutely identical to the way it is taught in KGP. One more thing is, whatever is done in class, go ahead and read uska article on Geeks for Geeks. Geeks for Geeks is very good. And you can also try solving basic CP problems on that topic. That is what I did with PDS. Sort, go to any coding platform, sort by topic, and just solve the first 5 or 10 easy problem set. That will just get, or if you cannot solve, look at the solution. That will get your gears running in the way how the workflow is maintained while coding out a problem. You don't need to have any fancy optimizations because the way uh, these tests are scheduled is especially in lab, you just have to get the code to run, or no optimization matters. In theory, here in theory, Geeks for Geeks will help you a lot because usually the way the problems are put are quite identical to the example problems from Geeks for Geek articles. Like it is difficult to think in the same way that the professor thought while writing out the code, and you have to fill in those blanks. But most of the cases, like above 80-90% of the the examples given in Geeks for Geeks are quite identical to the way the questions are put in your theory exams. That was the case, especially in my semester. I don't know how you guys are. I assume it's fill in the blanks only, right? Your problems in PTS theory.
Avis would like to take.
Yeah, I'm in the chemistry sim, so I think that I can answer this. What we have this, there is a code and there is some line missing.
Yeah.
Means,
So
yeah.
yeah, that is what I was talking about. Just you. So yeah, if it's fill in the blanks, I know it is pretty challenging to think in the same line of thought that the professor thought while setting out the problem. But Geeks for Geeks, basic programming problems, and CS50. That's pretty much it. Revise the lab courses as well. Revise the lab as well for theory. Both of them are interlinked. Don't just simply think I'll let go of lab, do theory. That is not going to happen. Do lab as well. That will tie into theory, and that's pretty much it.
Thanks, that was pretty much insightful, Aditya. Madhya and Bharat, would you like to add something?
I think everything was covered. So just the basic key is clear your concept and practice coding. To be honest, just practice coding. You are good to go.
Yeah, and one more thing that I never listen to the professor's lectures. I never watched the professor's slides. Okay, so what I did was whenever the exams were around, I used to look at what all topics were covered in class and again refer to YouTube videos of the same thing. Like whether you are watching CS50 wala course or any other like YouTuber or any other person who teaches that particular thing on YouTube, go and refer to that particular topic and study it out. Like the channels that I refer to was one was Code with Harry that I used to refer to a lot, and a Telescope is another channel that I used to refer to. So these two channels are pretty good. Type in the name of the channel and the topic you want to study about. That's it. I never listen to the professor's lecture, so that is a plus point you can consider.
Yeah, thank you guys. I guess that all of the guys would be clear in their head that how should they proceed towards the PDS. So yes, we can move on to the next question. So like it's about the physics M guys, that how did you guys go about the handling physics of waves? Anyone could start, please.
Yeah. Okay. So again, same thing. Like in physics of waves, you have to refer to the slides given by the professors because that is the only source that you will find anywhere online. You won't find POW is a type of topic you won't really find anywhere online. However, there are a few books by Professor Khastagir and Professor Shastri. These two books are good. They were KGP profs itself themselves, so they have their notes written down and they have questions at the end of each chapter. So you can refer to that. And another thing was NPTELs. NPTELs of POW. They are pretty old, but they were pretty good. So watch them on 2x. They are pretty long, and the prof teaches very slowly, but they are very elaborative. So NPTELs and books by Professor Khastagir and Shastri. I guess the NPTEL was by Professor Bharadwaj, so that is one you can keep in mind.
Yeah, it was by Somnath Bharadwaj, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Bharat. Would anyone like to add some more points?
Yeah, and also try to get hold of like tutorial answers, like ask any senior or a TA. Like the tutorial answers are like really descriptive, and you can learn a lot. Like for me, I only studied from those tutorials. Like my present year and last year, I got hold of both of them, and only I just practiced them once, and like I scored well in pop.
Yeah, relax. That was pretty much insightful. Aditya and Madhya would like to add some more thing.
I think everything's pretty much covered. Somnath and Sastri, Somnath Bharadwaj. So you just have to think कि POW में formulas are very, very, very important. At the same time, people lose marks because they think POW is very easy, which it is, but everyone will score very good. So that could be messed up again by relative grading.
Plus, make sure you know what the marking scheme is for POW, because in our case it was pretty lenient. I'm not sure how it is in your case. We had like 4 tests and best 3 were taken. And just ask your professors what the marking scheme is. POW should not be one of the problematic subjects, according to me.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was great. So like I guess that Abhisha had some problem. So I will take on the 11th question. So the 11th question, that how did you guys deal with the electrical technology and what materials should we use to score good in it? Like it's some like in this subject there are very much things, like in transformer it's very confusing to remember all these things. So please share and clear our doubts.
Okay, so electrical, again, NPTEL is the best source that you can find. If you look at the PDFs of NPTELs, they will have questions along with the answers as well. Like when you go to the NPTEL's website and you look for electrical technology, you will find a PDF where they'll have questions. The answers to most of those questions are wrong, so don't bother like thinking that your answers are wrong. Try to practice them. Try to see if you're able to solve it, and that is where you can practice ET from. And the tutorials are like very tough. They were very tough in our case and not at all similar to what we had in tests or in the homeworks. So don't bother about the tutorials much. Follow NPTEL and NPTEL videos by Professor Devapriya Das on YouTube. They were pretty good. So these are the two sources I followed.
So one more thing is, are you guys aware about Anubhav Jain's notes? Like he is our super senior now, but I believe he made amazing, the best notes I've ever seen. So are the freshers aware of it? Like
Yeah, not
I think I studied maths from Anubhav and ET as well from Anubhav Jain's notes as well. I'll try to find the link or I'll upload it to Drive if I can find it. But yeah, I hope you guys are aware of it.
yeah, it would be great if you share, as most of the guys would not have been aware about that.
Yeah, cool.
Madiha and Nilak, would you like to add something?
Professor Depriya Das was really nice. You can also get hold of his PDF notes, and they are very nice examples, solved examples, and you can just go through them. Yeah, that's.
My approach is completely different. Apart from the Anubhav Dha's note, you can only refer one book, that's Hughes Electrical Technology. That is the best. You can clear your concept as well as the questions, and you do not have to even watch the slides or anything. You just watch the slides for the syllabus. That's pretty much it, and it is covered.
Yeah, thank you guys. I guess that people would have got a clear roadmap to that how should proceed for the ET. So we can move on to the next question. So next question is like, what was your strategy to deal with the advanced calculus? How you used to practice question and what number of questions you used to practice and all?
Apart from the tutorial and assignment, if you do it, that's more than enough. But if you still want to be sure, and again, practice is the key. You want to practice more and more questions. Just solve Thomas calculus. Dot. Nothing else.
Yeah, that was
Professor Jitendra Kumar's lectures and slides. That's it. I don't think you need to refer to. There is one more book. I think so. It's called Crazig, which is recommended for maths. I don't think you need to do it. Just do Professor Jitendra Kumar's notes and his lectures. They are available on NPTEL as well. Extremely relevant. Nothing will be asked apart from those. Sometimes it even happens the example problems from his slides are directly asked in the exam. So those who have Professor Jitendra Kumar as their professor, do attend his classes. Those who don't, you can watch NPTEL.
Yeah, like most of the guys used to watch these and Jitendra Kumar sir's lectures.
He is a very, very good professor.
Yeah. Anyone would like to add some extra point?
Like that was pretty much it. And like maths, all the subjects from maths are absolute always. So do remember that. Like it won't matter how well are you scoring compared to your peers. You need to be like really good at maths if you want to get a good grade because it is absolute. So prepare keeping that in mind.
Yeah, so absolute means I'll just go over the above 90 is EX, 80 to 90 with a slight relaxation, like 78 or 77 to 90 is A. And then for B, the relaxation is slightly higher. It's like 65, 64 to 75, 78. That is B. Okay. So, but EX ke liye, it's very, very strict. They usually don't accommodate anything above 90.
Extremely sorry, guys. Actually, there was an internet issue from my side. That's why I was out from the meeting. So I think that we can move on to the next question. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So our 11th question is that how did you
Yeah,
deal with
Abhisar, we have done with this question. So
Okay.
you can move on to the 13th question.
Okay. So either we can start from here.
13th question. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So how did you deal with the time management and lengthy calculation in BM? Anyone from the panelist want to step into this?
For time management, people actually end up leaving a lot of questions and then solving a lot of questions wrong. So do not focus on solving all the questions. That's the key in BM, I'll say. Apart from that, solve tutorials, assignments, Mariam and Craig, Beer Johnson, if you have time.
Bharat, do you want to add into
Tutorials,
this?
yeah, tutorials very important. BM, I just did the tutorials that were enough. And Beer Johnson, like as Madiha said, definitely the reference book. Use anyone. No need to do all of them, and no need to do all the questions from even one of them. Just look at that basically, and that'll be pretty much it. Look at the solved questions if you don't have time. Enough.
Yeah, thanks, Bharat. That was insightful. Aditya, do you want to add on to this? What Madiha and Bharat mentioned?
I would just say for calculations, solve everything in the variable first. A lot of the factors eliminate out, and then put the values in the end. Because if you solve in smaller chunks now, the errors will keep getting amplified, and you will get out of the 1% range of the answer. So I'll tell you, the most hurtful thing is when your answer is 48 point something and the answer is 50. Okay, that is, and that usually happens due to this only if you have been solving in smaller chunks and then multiplying again and again. So solve in the variable first, put the value at the end for a more accurate representation.
Yeah, that the physics some guys could totally relate to that. We are doing calculation and we have done a 2 pages calculation, and the last you would get a more than a 2% or something that out of
Yeah.
range answer.
Solve in variable first. Some factors will eliminate out. Even if they don't eliminate out, at least what the answer you will get will sort of be accurate if you have solved it correctly. Matlab, I don't think so there's any way. BM the good part is the grading is very lenient. Like in my semester, the course was a nightmare, the grading was very lenient. So for with about 50% marks, even less than 50% in some cases, we had an EX. So yeah, don't worry too much about it. But then don't take my word for it as well, because course coordinators change and they might. But yeah, usually the grading is good in BM. Don't worry too much.
So I think that we can move on to the next question. So our last question is that how should we prepare for the subject like science of living system and EVS? So yeah, Madhya, do you want to start, or yeah, Bharat, you can continue.
I'd say don't. If you are thorough with your classes, attending all the lectures, then you don't even have to take a look at anything before the exam. Just one glance and everything will be done. And if you are not doing EVS or bio classes, you just need to go through it one day before the exam. Do not give your time to these subjects if you are looking for a DEPC. And if you attend all the classes, it won't be an issue. You don't even have to go it one night before. You can just have a glance and everything will be refreshed. So yeah.
Yeah, okay. Bharat, do you want to continue?
Yeah, that was it. Like I never studied science of living systems and EVS. Like I never basically just like looked at the PPT 5 or 6 hours before the test. That was basically the night. The tests were in the morning. Late in the night, I would used to look at the PPTs, look at what the topics were being taught. That's it. Because like I didn't really care about these subjects because they were not included in DEPC as well. So that is what I did. Like my main focus was DEPC. That's it. Nothing else. So
Yeah, one more thing. Professor Dibyendu Samanta gives some assignments for science of living systems. Just solve them. The paper is exactly those assignments. I'm not even kidding. He was our professor. We used to get the assignments. We used to solve the assignments, and the same questions used to be asked in the exam. Professor Dibyendu Samanta, just try to find if he still gives out the assignments. I'm not very sure, but yeah, in our time he used to.
Yeah, I have the same professor and he actually provides the assignment. Yeah.
Yeah, so you must have realized the midsem was quite identical.
Yeah, correct. So I think that we are done with the questions and we are open to question from the audience. Feel free to put it in the chat box and we can ask them to the panelist.
So yeah, we have got few questions in the chat box earlier. So one of the question is like, where do we get the solutions to the Somnath sir's books, the Pratik Hastigar and the Somnath sir's books? Like it's there, not solutions are not provided there. Do you know that where we can find them?
I don't think there are any solutions. Like even I used to struggle with finding the solutions. I guess the answers are there in the book. Are they? I don't really remember because like that is what I used to do. I used to discuss them with my friends who were studying at that time. If there was a question I used to have a doubt in, I used to send it to some other person, and he used to solve it. And that is how we discussed. Never found any solutions.
Yeah, okay, that was great. And another question that we have is that the people are scoring low marks in PDS, and what are the chances that they could fail in the subject?
The chances are extremely astronomically low. If you are not attending any classes and you're having a 0 in all tests and have no communication with the professor, then also you'll not be failed. We had we had a couple of cases like these. They try their best not to fail anyone, but यार इतना भी तो नहीं फीस मारोगे ना कि fail हो जाओ. And just don't worry about failing. Try to get a decency.
Aditya, I want to ask one thing, that what is that something criteria that last 10% fails? Is that something like that? Means in
Bro,
an exam.
last 10% fails. That would mean like 190 students failing every. No, nothing like that. Very
Okay.
few students fail, and it's in online. It is even more rare. In offline, it used to be a bit more common. I don't think so. The professors are failing anyone in online semester. Like the only person I know did not attend any classes, any course, no test, no classes, nothing at all. And then only he was failed only one in one lab.
Okay.
The other professors just gave a P. So yeah.
Yeah, the another question that we get that is the relative grading only amongst the same section students?
Relative grading is usually among the section apart, except for PDS. PDS is globally graded.
Okay, yeah. I guess that most of the queries are addressed. Sorry, guys, if we were not able to take up your questions.
Chinmay is asking if there were any compensatory tests in first semester for chemistry. There was a compensatory test for physical chemistry at least, and I was stupid enough to not appear in it. So if you think you can improve, go for it. Otherwise, I won't recommend. They usually try to make compensatory tests a little more tricky. But if you feel like you have nothing to lose, just go for it.
Thank you, guys. Your answer was pretty much insightful. So, the one final message from your side to the freshers appearing in the endsem in the next week.
Okay, so like for the NSEMs, don't worry about your performance in the midsems. Don't worry about anything that happened in the past, because NSEMs are basically a totally different thing. This is what I am telling myself right now, because we had our midsems, and we are going to have our endsems, which most probably are going to be offline. So this is what I'm telling myself, that endsems are going to be a totally different thing. So it is a new start, a new beginning. So you can focus on that. Nothing has happened till now. Worrying about midsems will only take it down. It won't improve it in any way. And talk to seniors. The most important thing, talk to seniors. If you don't know which resource to refer to, how to take up one subject or the other, how to manage between subjects, societies and clubs and assignments, anything, talk to seniors. They are the best. They are the best person who can guide you. And always stay in touch with your batchmates.
Yeah. And I believe SWG should hold a session for us second years as well, because offline and sense, we also need to know how to appear in them. Oof, so
Yeah, Aditya,
online
we will
semester isn't
definitely
that bad, guys. Enjoy it while it lasts. So that's pretty much it
Madhya,
from my
would you
side
like
as well.
to say something?
Yeah. I'd say do not lose hope. And if you're looking for a DEPSI, do not get distracted by any other thing. Just focus on a DEPSI and get your priorities clear. With all the society work and everything, just get your priorities clear. If you want to go there, or if there's something else for you. And if you're looking for a DEPSI genuinely, just focus on your studies. And yeah, again, do not lose hope, because the one worrying about midsems is only gonna take you down. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All the best for your ensems, and I guess we need best wishes more than you guys.
Yeah. Thank you guys for your best wishes. It was a fantastic session. I would like to express my gratitude to all the panelists for their gracious presence and willingness to mentor the freshers for the endsem. I would also like to thank all the freshers and the members of the SWU team for helping us to make this event insightful. Thank you guys. All the best for your endsem.
endsem में मचाना है and KJP का tempo high है.
Hi.
Yeah,
Thank you
absolutely.
guys.
और seniors
Thank you for joining us there.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Best of luck to seniors, you to that. You have going to have
Yeah,
an
it's
endsem.
offline. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So much, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much. It was a wonderful session.
Yeah.
Very greatly
Thank you.
organized. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Madhya.
Bharat.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, guys. Thank you for joining us.